Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, and welcome back to FRS Season 7. We are here. Round 4, Barcelona, Spain is where today's race is going to be taking place. Let's take a look at the circuit itself, a classic. A little bit of changes to turn 10, but 4.6 kilometers around 16 corners, 2 DRS zones. A pretty tricky track to overtake on, honestly. The couple of DRS zones come after high downforce corners, so it is a little bit tough to follow closely. Driver will spend just about 59% of the lap at full throttle. It's only the second lowest percentage that we will see this season is because of all of those turns. Turn 1 and 2, your first big action zone, heavy braking into turn 1. Try to get the car stopped and get enough overlap, but it is still only about a fourth gear corner. So it's not a full-blown slowdown. It's a pretty short braking zone, about 75 meters really to get it dialed in. And then turn 4, you can continue the battle up. Turn 3, turn 4, it's actually turn 5. I did the math wrong. But you can stay close through turns 1 and 2. Then you get into this downhill left-hander. Not a traditional overtaking zone, but one where we may see some action. Soft, medium, and hard as always. The medium's half a second slower per lap. The hard's 1.1 seconds slower than the soft tires in dry conditions around the circuit. And looking at about 10 laps of life on the softs, 18 on the mediums, and 24 on the hards to make up your potential tire strategies. As it is in most races, likely medium hard or hard medium, depending on whether you want the pace at the start or the pace at the end. Of course, safety cars can play a bit of a factor as it goes. We'll take a look at the championship standings. We are on 36 points, up into 4th place behind Robin B, who's in first. Chronicle and Spend split us from the championship lead. Golly right there, tied with us on points, 36. Our teammate Dog, just another spot down, 34. So very good day for the Williams. Daryl Adam, Banana Up, Hathaman, and Zhao 81 rounding out the top 10 of the Division 2 Drivers' Championship. So we will see what we can do to try and make our way up the grid a little bit. But first things first, we'll hop out into our qualifying session. Winding up for our first flying lap, take a look around this circuit. Now, I did opt for a little bit higher wing than a lot of the other drivers on the circuit. So I was kind of banking on just having overall lap time. But you can see, pitch it in turn 1. Turn 2, take the curb. Turn 3, little bit of a blend just to keep the rear tires in temperature check. You can, if you're feeling daring, go flat out. Turn 4 now is up this hill. We're very wide of the apex. You wanted to get much closer to the inside. And then turn 5, where you have that kind of downhill braking, overtaking opportunity. So it's not been the cleanest of first sectors this lap because of that miss in turn 4. But as we head up the hill to turn 9, high-speed right-hander, just a little bit of a blend out of the throttle. Make sure you don't lose the rear end and spear into that right side barrier. Now, reprofiled turn 10, breaking about the 100-meter board instead of a sharp hairpin. This is now kind of sweeping double apex left-hander and into the right-hander. And the last couple of bits, they very kind of clumsy last sector on the brakes to get the last chicane done. Try and get the power down as soon as you can, as there's a Red Bull spun off the inside. Full throttle for the final corner. Open up that DRS. And we are going to go 18.557. First driver to set a valid lap time, so we are naturally, of course, going to have that fast lap time. Spen out of the session, though, has crashed on their first run. So we're jumping back out. Run number 2, we've lost provisional pole to Gali, who is turning into quite the rival this season. Not a great run out of the final corner that time. You can see we've lost almost about a tenth of a second down the pit straight. Just because of that lack of momentum. We are going to try and make some of that time up in this first sector. We have made about half of the arrears already and going a little bit more brave in turn 3. Running out a little bit too wide, though. That's going to cost us a little bit of time. So no improvements found in sector 1, but we take turn 4 much better. You can see significant improvement in turn 4, but then turn 5 catches us and we go very deep. So a little bit of a time loss, not a huge miss compared to our last lap, but we do have some time to find in pocket here. We know that there's the ability to improve. Turn 9, a little bit more brave that time by, and a good run through there will gain us time all the way down into turn 10. So purple middle sector according to the timing sheet up top right. And now the final sector, if we can find a good last sector we could retake that pole position, but we've gone very deep there, rumbling over the curbs and rejoining, losing a ton of time. And actually, you see, we get all the power down out of the final corner, but from about 4/10 up to now just about 8/100ths of an improvement. It does do enough to get us over Gali there and take provisional pole back, but there is serious time left in this qualifying. Sakai goes ahead of us 18-2, so that 4/10 that we lost would have been pole position. We jump ahead now, falling down to 4th overall. Only a couple minutes left to go in the session, so this will be our last attempt at a flying lap here. And a better run out of the final corner compared to our previous best lap, so we do get a little bit of time. And now through turn 1, turn 2. Good run through those first couple of corners. Yellow flag up ahead from a Aston Martin pulled off, but we'll stay off the racing line, and it'll be nice and clean for us to go through. We go purple in the first sector. Early on the brakes, though, into turn 4. You can see just how much that has cost us time-wise. So a shocker of an end to the first or start of the second sector. And just like that, our 10th that we found in the first sector is gone. Now, we do know that there is going to be about, with a good third sector, about 4/10ths that we can find. So we can just stay kind of even. It's still not going to be an awful lap, but it is still time that we've bled away. Could have found nearly 6/10ths on this lap. Instead, we're just kind of hoping for whatever we can pick up in the final sector. A little wide there has cost us a bit of momentum, but now just need to stay clean through here. This time not rumble over the curbs. You can see we'll go straight into the green by a factor of about 3/10ths. Not quite as good of an exit out of the final couple of corners. We are going to find about 3/10ths, but it likely it's just going to put us on provisional pole, but still could have been more. And it is possible, very likely, that we will indeed lose that provisional pole status. So back around on our in-lap. That will be our last run of the qualifying session. Just waiting to see. And indeed, we do get shuffled all the way down to 4th, nearly 3/10ths off the mark this time. Gali goes pole position, the only man into the 17s. Robin on an 18-0, Sakai on an 18-1, and ourselves on an 18-1. So P4, and we did kind of gamble for better overall lap time. So it was kind of would have been important to get a good qualifying position. But on the grid we go on the medium tires, 5 red lights up and out. It's not a great start, a little bit of a bog down. We are able to clear Chronicle. Bananarama has made their way past. We're looking ahead at the inside of Sakai, not going to make it a 3-wide lunge. You can see lifting and coasting way into it. Chronicle right around the outside. We're going to leave him plenty of space, but because he's going to get on the curb and spin himself out. So very cautious through turns 1 and 2. Has netted us a little bit of time loss to Gali and Sakai up ahead as they are going to battle side by side. And our championship challenge of Robin out in the front is ahead of this fight, and now we're on a track where it's going to be very difficult to overtake, and Robin is running clear. So I'm just watching the potential for a race win kind of disappear already. And now just going to have to stick in. You can see, go through turn 9. Look at how much they're able to just kind of run away down the straight, as I believe they are carrying significantly less swing than we are. You can see how much more grip we have in the corners, though. We are able to really close up to them, but it's not an area where you can really get a move done. So it's all about trying to stay close through these corners enough to where you can be right on the gearbox down the main straight and try and make a move. But you get the throttle down well. 4/10ths the gap. Robin already across the line, and we are nearly 2.5 seconds behind the race leader already at this stage. And you can see just how much Gali and Sakai are running down the pit straight in front of us, and it's not ideal. This setup was really geared to run in clean air. I thought I had good, and I just couldn't put an entire good lap together. I would have certainly had pole if I had put my 3 best sectors together. I just couldn't. I just made a mistake in a single sector every single lap. And once again, in these downforce areas, you can see closing up to the back of Sakai. I'm able to get close, but not affect a move, as once we hit the straight line sections of the track, he's got more than enough grunt and lack of rear wing to run away. You see, only made up really no time at all. We made up about 0.03 of a second, got from about 4.3 to 4.0, but this is where we really had the pace. Turn 10, turn 11 on Sockeye, we really were having to, drive slowly to avoid just running into the back of him at that stage. And trying to open up the corner, get a good exit. We're right in the wheel tracks this time. I think he may have had a little bit of a slide and a mistake, but once again, that straight line speed. DRS now enabled. And now I'm looking at Gali starting to run away ahead of Sockeye. I've got a good chunk of battery on board. About 60% of the ERS is available to me. So I haven't been burning too much battery. I could get that little bit of straight line. I just wanted to maybe see if I'm pressuring Sockeye into using up his battery a little bit more. He's gone wide again through turn 4. You can see that's netted me almost a good 0.2 of a second on the margin, and just trying to get to a spot where I can be close enough to make a move. Turn 9 is not a bad decision if I can get right on the gearbox, because I will have that extra downforce to navigate turn 9 a little better, and maybe the DRS, but I think he's just stayed within the DRS of Gali. Yep, that rear wing flips open, and you can see he's starting to make a little bit of ground, but turned off the overtake, closed the DRS, and once again not able to quite get close enough in turn 10 to get some overlap and maybe work my way through. And now we're looking at them just teetering on the edge of the DRS detection from Gali ahead. So out of the final corners we come. Did they pick DRS? I think. No, they did not. So we have DRS full overtake enabled, and we're just not quite making the ground. And I'm going to pull out and try and go for it, but I'm too far back. Contact happens. Purely my mistake, and just DNF'd myself out of this race. So a very uncharacteristic, very impatient play by me. And that is the end of the Spanish Grand Prix. So no points on offer. Robin would go on to win that race, and that would be the end of that day. So not what we wanted to see in a race. Hopefully we can get it back next week. So that's why it's a short episode. Thank you guys for joining me. I will see you guys next time, hopefully for a better result. Peace.